Hello and welcome to Chad and Cherry's Surf Music Review. I'm Chad Shivers.
I'm Cherry.
And we're continuing on with our Surf Guitar 101 Festival lineup bands. At least the bands that have vinyl that we have. So we are on to Saturday. Friday we finished up because it's just Tiki and Satan's Pilgrims.
Yep.
And so now we're on to Saturday morning.
Awesome.
And,
all right, we're doing this in order.
Yeah, we are doing it in order. So the first band that we have vinyl of on Saturday, the legendary Paul Johnson will be performing early on in the afternoon, and Paul Johnson was a member of the band the Bel-Airs, which arguably put out the first surf song, and I said it last week in our last video, but I actually had some dates wrong, so I'm going to correct that a little bit later. So a pivotal band especially for a group that only released one single in their career.
Wow.
So this album is a compilation of outtakes and things that they recorded and demos and whatnot. It plays like a pretty darn good album. And it's released by Sundays, as they tend to do on their label, just releasing great stuff that people haven't heard, or it's incredible. So thanks Bob Irwin for putting this gem out. So we're gonna get kicking off with the titular track, which is Volcanic Action.
All right, yeah.
We're gonna take a look at this bad boy because it is awesome.
I was expecting that it would be black.
It is not.
It is pretty.
Yeah, so it's like
the album cover's nothing too special. So.
Well, again, it wasn't actually an album, So it's kind of a lava red.
I don't have room here. Hold on. Okay. All right. Almost made a party foul.
Like a lot of their contemporaries, not bad for a bunch of 15-year-olds.
Blows my mind.
Every time. And cut live, they did it in a few takes. I will say I do love, maybe because of the demo quality or whatnot, of this album, the nature of this album. But there's a lot of times where the guitars will get off from the drums, or the drums will get off from the guitars. I kind of find that endearing, because they're like, it's good enough,
right.
We ain't got time and money enough for doing it another time.
Yeah.
So yeah, started in 1961.
Wow.
I hear a lot of Fireballs influence, the band the Fireballs from Texas. George Tomsko was the guitarist for that group. And I actually got to see something that was pretty magical, Cherry, at maybe the last SG 101 I went to. George Tomsko played, and George Tomsko and Paul Johnson played together. And it was really cool to see Paul Johnson, like, with his hero, you know, playing together. So
Wow.
it was really like special moment. So these kind of things happen at Surf Guitar 101 Festival, so we hope to see you. So what are your thoughts? You haven't listened to this album quite that much.
No, I haven't. It definitely in passing and definitely in the background kind of thing. You know, I can hear that this was influential to a lot of music, like just a lot of bands, a lot of artists, not just the surf genre, especially the Volcanic Action. I swear, hear me out. In the musical Hairspray, in the movie Hairspray, there's a song that Tracy Turnblad does her like dance to. It's a squish, squash, kill the roach. Like, I heard that in there. It was probably like a very popular transition or phrase during that time period. And I know this was like an 80s movie, but this was probably pretty influential, or at least that kind of phrase was influential to that soundtrack.
Sure.
I lost him. That's what hopped into my crazy,
I love it. Again,
crazy brain.
it's all part of the experience. What you experience, what you as a listener, it's completely valid, you know?
Yeah.
So, I think it's cool.
Thank you for humoring me.
Yeah. So, yeah, real hot. I love the reverb crash, you know, at the beginning and the end. It's very reminiscent of Wipeout, which we covered.
Yeah.
And this, of course, predates Wipeout. Also, a little tie-in to Wipeout. In the, I believe, the 80s, Paul actually joined up with Jim Fuller's Safaris. And so there's two Safaris. There's Jim Fuller's Safaris on the West Coast, and then there's now I can't even remember his name, but the rhythm guitar player, which now lives in Nashville with his family, and Rich and I actually got to go and see them play. So really cool, all these ties. It's definitely, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The surf music world is a small one. All right, well, let's get kicking on our next one, and this is the song that started it all. So this is going to be Mr. Moto, and this was done, not quite yet, I'm sorry. So my dates that I need to correct, and I read this later as I was doing a little bit of research for this. Again, usually a lot of the stuff is just off the top of our head, so we're going to get a lot of stuff wrong, guys, and we apologize, but we are really focusing on the music and how we feel about it. We're not experts, we're just fans, that's it. So Mr. Moto was released in May 1961, and then Let's Go Trippin', which is the other arguable first surf song, was October of 61.
Oh.
So 5 months. And this has been covered by so many folks, even bands like Agent Orange, huge influence on them. The melody was lifted or I would say stolen for a Sublime song. I mean, it's all over the place. You'll kind of hear a lot of it.
Okay.
So yeah, let's get kicking on.
All right. So
Mr. Moto.
This is 3. This is 3. 4.
it just doesn't get much better than that. You know, that was the first, and we're still playing.
Still playing it.
I mean, 62 years later,
Yeah.
we're still playing it.
Yeah.
So many bands play this song. It's a standard for certain. And one thing that's curious that I didn't know for the longest time. I didn't really think about it. Cheery, what don't you hear in this piece?
Electric guitar? I don't know. What is it?
Bass guitar.
Oh, is that not bass?
There's no bass in this.
It sounds like bass in it.
I don't think there's bass on these records.
Well, if not, they're doing a great job making it sound like there is.
Yeah. So no bass on this.
I know you said electric guitar. I knew that was going to be wrong. I just took a stab in the dark.
That's all right. I mean, I played it wrong.
Like, was it done on acoustic? Like, I didn't know.
No,
No, but I mean, I was listening. It sounded like it, but I guess it's just the low strings on the guitar.
it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very like a chunky rhythm and doing that 1/5 thing that a bass would do. I've read a long time ago, I don't know how true this is. There's a lot of like speculation that I've read and heard about the Bel-Airs and stuff that I don't know if it's true or I made up or I heard somewhere or I read somewhere. But basically, the lack of bass was just due to being naive teenagers. They didn't realize that they needed a bass player. I love that. I
guess they just didn't need it, really.
No.
I mean, they were right.
They did add a bass player after these recordings. So Randy Nauert, which passed away fairly recently, and seemed like a really cool guy. I don't think I ever met him, but he would always be posting on Facebook just great stories about playing with these guys and playing with. Cherry lost a straw because I put too big of straws in here. Do you want mine?
No, it's okay.
So he would always post stories about, being kids back in the 60s and playing surf music and all the hijinks and shenanigans and stuff that would get into. So, no bass on that song. I love all the trades in that. The piano, just fantastic. The break.
Yeah.
I love that. There's like a little lull in the music where the sax comes in and plays like one note, and it's so haunting and beautiful. And I just love it to bits. I love that song so
It's a
much.
great song.
The drum break, just killer. And some heavy hitters on these records that went on to do amazing things and create so many groups and bands. The original drummer was Dick Dodd, which was actually a Mouseketeer.
Oh,
And
interesting.
and he later went on to play in the Standells, which had a hit. Paul Johnson later went on to do PJ and Audie, PJ and the Galaxies. In the 80s, he joined the Safaris, like we talked about, his own group of Packards. He had solo records. He had this really cool acoustic project called the Duotones. They did like a lot of surf standards and their songs. I can't remember the other part of the Duotones. I'm sorry, I should have looked that up. But another important person in the surf genre. And Paul's every SG 101 I've been to, he's been there and just
Awesome.
hanging out and he'll chat with you and it has meant a lot to me just seeing him and getting to talk to him and such a down-to-earth guy and a sweet guy and just so jazzed that people are carrying on his legacy, the thing that he helped create. I think that's fabulous.
Nice.
So Paul Johnson on guitar, and he would trade off guitar licks with Eddie Bertrand, which is my personal favorite 60s, maybe 60s guitarist, just in general. I just love his stuff. He went on to form Eddie and the Showman with Dick Dodd.
Oh, wow.
Richard Delvey replaced Dick Dodd on drums, and that's who we're hearing here. And he went on to form the Challengers, which were a huge, a very commercially successful surf group. So they all went on to do great things and influence so many So many groups.
Right on.
So, all right. I'll probably go on a little bit more later, but let's go ahead and flip it.
Okay.
And we're going to listen to Bedlam next.
That song was that we were just listening to. I think that was Vampire.
Yes, Vampire.
That's definitely one of those like walking, like strutting tunes. Like
I'm losing my straw too.
Don't mess with me.
Right. I actually think that was. I think that was borrowed from another song. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, it was like borrowed from a different song. I really like this track because it's not a upbeat number, but it's still got a lot of energy, and it's almost got like kind of a sinister quality to it, you know, like a dark, ominous thing, but also still you can still kind of twist to it, you know. Cool melodies, nothing like groundbreaking, but just really cool. It's just got a great sound. I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of has like a lurker kind of aspect to it. So like they're kind of hunting like a sexy lady kind of thing. So
I love that.
Yeah, little lurker.
And you got that cool growly, sexy sax in there. You know.
Sexy sax. I also like the mix of the sax with the guitar, because the sax will take the lead and the guitar will kind of lay back a little bit, and then they kind of just go back and forth, and
it's a really good, because you know this stuff wasn't mixed in the modern sense. You know, it was pretty much what you get is what you get.
Right.
I mean that's a simplification, but you know
they didn't have like a lot of level play or anything.
Yeah, I mean at least not on these records that they cut real quick and stuff like that.
Like you said, they were like 15, so who knows how much money they had available to put into it. So it might have been like a one-day kind of lay down the tracks and here you go, here's your pressing.
Right.
You know.
But yeah, it's a great masterclass in dynamics, and something that I actually struggle with as a musician is dynamics.
I think it's hard because everybody wants to be heard.
Yeah.
And so everybody thinks that they always need to be like up here, you know, like turn it up to 11, you know, that's the thing. But something can be said about playing really well and really
nuanced.
Yeah, I was going to say really dynamic, but underneath the main instrument that has the lead melody or whatever, right? Because, I mean, that's how you get depth, that's how you get emotion, that's how you kind of tell a story.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
yeah.
Also, to your point, there's one song on here where the sax locks in with the guitar line, and it really creates like a Spectre-esque wall of sound for that brief moment. I love the like timbre that those two instruments create together when they're locked in that tight.
For sure.
So, yeah, just incredible. So yeah, you can see some of these songs performed, and guys, I'm just going to be straight. You know, Paul Johnson, he's a treasure, and he's not going to be with us forever. You know, we don't have Eddie anymore. We don't have Randy anymore. We don't have Dick Dodd anymore. You know, so go see these guys when you can, because it's special. I don't even know if we'll announce the SG-101 lineup because it's huge.
It's huge.
25 bands, guys. It's a lot.
Or more.
Yeah, or more. We're going to cover as much as we can before the date. We'll have a link in the description to actually both festivals, to SG-101 and Southern Surf Stomp Fest. So go check out the link in the description and get your tickets. I think they're getting gone here pretty quick, and this is what we're talking about. Okay, guys? SG-101. I think that's gonna do it for us. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when we release a new video. And until next time, wherever you are in the world, we hope that you're happy, healthy, and safe. And cheers. It's like I'm drinking soup or something.
We'll need like shorter straws next time.